Today is leg day, which as a bikini competitor pretty much means today is glute day. Every day is glute day. So main focus for me is growing my glutes. You cannot fully isolate your glutes when training them, so other parts of your legs will be working, but that is the main focus, growing my glutes. I will be joined by my coach, an IFBB pro, and an Olympian, top 15 Olympian, Megan Sylvester-Cielen. So super excited for her to join me for this session today. We will be sharing some tips and tricks throughout the session. So yeah, let's get cracking. So we're going to start off with hip thrusts. I've actually got my rep sets for this exercise. So what that means is I do 3 sets. The first set is just a straight set, trying to get between 8 to 12 reps based on what I get for that set. So whatever number of reps I get for that set, I am then trying to match that in the following set with the same weight. So if I can only get 9 reps, what I do, I get 9 reps, have a few seconds to breathe, and go again until I get that number of reps. It's brutal, but it works. So if you can, if your gym has maybe different sized plates, use the bigger ones as your first ones, so that when you start adding weight on, it's a lot easier to put on and off. You could also use bumper plates, for example. They're always a lot bigger. That way, you're just saving yourself so much time, because when you start to put more weight on, you're not having to worry about it catching the floor.
I'm going to do one warm-up and then I'm going to just be ready to go, because not because it's going to take time, but just because I don't want to have to keep in place.
Oh, no, I get that, don't worry. That's the problem about not being as strong and you training with someone who's much, much stronger than you. Just constantly on and off, on and off.
I don't have glutes like you there, so. Obviously it's going to be Magda's video, obviously, because you're watching it on Magda's channel, but I'll talk about Magda from a coach's perspective, give her a little bit of input with training and stuff like that. I get input from my coach, that's how I learn. Magda gets input from her coach, that's how she learns. We both do educating away from that to make sure that we can be the best athletes and the best coaches that we can both possibly be. Magda's obviously just finished her diet, well, a few weeks ago now. She finished her diet phase, as you will have seen on her Instagram, and it was a really, really, really positive diet. We managed to get very lean, not have to completely annihilate her to get there, which pretty certain that any other time that she's tried to get lean, she's had to completely annihilate herself. And that's just because we've become much better at managing her stress and her emotions and how to deal with her from an emotional level. Some competitors, some people don't need that. I'm the type of person that doesn't need that, but that doesn't mean that I'm a better athlete than another person. It just means that I bottle it up and it probably comes out at like a later date, which is probably a worse thing to do. So we've become much better at managing overwhelm and stress. We've gotten much better at knowing when to pull back. Magda needs recovery, reset, deloads a little bit more frequently than, say, a normal person. But again, does that make her a worse athlete? No. It just means that we're now in tune with what her body needs. And that hasn't been focused upon enough before, which is why she probably gets annihilated, why she gets stressed, why she gets ill so super often. So we're very on top of all of that. And she also looks the best. She has the most muscle mass that she ever has. Her body composition that is the best that it's ever been. And her foods are trending up. Her expenditure is trending down, meaning she's going to start a prep where foods are high, expenditure is low, body composition is perfect, ready for the best look for her on stage. More aggression on the way up. Right there. Don't rush it at the bottom. Squeeze them glutes. Drive. And again. Through. Through. Nice. Leave it there.
So I know I've spoken about my prep, but I didn't actually say when I'm competing. The plan is to compete end of September, about the 20th of September, to do my regional show. So in the UK, we have to do a regional show before we can then move on to a pro qualifier. So the plan is do my regional show with Two Bros, is the promoter here in the UK, and then do the Amateur Olympia in Italy at the beginning of October, and then do the British Grand Prix, I think it's called, in Bradford. So that's the plan at the minute. We'll see how it goes, but fingers crossed. Hopefully it all goes to plan.
Thrust up to the ceiling, let's go. Nice. Through. One more. Through. All the way. Come on. Nice. Training's not allowed. Training like a pussy's not allowed at TNMK. Build some fucking muscle.
So, slight change of plans, if my voice hasn't given it away just yet. I haven't been feeling my best, so speaking to Meg, we are going to reduce my volume in this session just a little bit to make sure that I don't dig myself an absolute hole and it take me forever to recover. One very important thing, if you're feeling a bit tired, if you are not feeling your best, you need to do a little bit of a self-assessment when you go into the gym and see how you're feeling. Is it actually worth you training full volume and potentially making yourself feel worse, or still going to the session, maybe doing a little bit less, giving your body a little bit more time to recover so that you can continue on and not need maybe a week of training. So rather than doing my rep sets, I've only done 2 straight sets. Any of the exercises where I would be doing 3 sets, we're going to reduce the volume to do only 2 sets as well. And hopefully that should do the trick and I won't walk away from this session feeling buried. So moving on to hyperextensions now. I should be doing 3 sets on this usually, but obviously, as I have discussed with Meg, I'll only be doing 2 sets. Meg actually has a very similar session to this in her split, which I think she's done like literally about 3 days ago. So she's going to be doing slightly different exercises at different points. So now she's going to be doing her RDLs whilst I do this, and we're going to rejoin slightly later on.
Just get to halfway. Dip both come up. Right up. Keep it up. Until you've got the rock.
Intensity and effort that you put in. That's the most important thing when it comes to training. Being accurate is very important in order for you to get the most that you can out of a movement for whatever you're training. However, that can come with time and practice. One thing that you cannot learn is intensity. And as long as you put in that effort and intensity into every single set and every single session that you do, you will progress. That's the most important thing that I want you to take away from this. Done with hyperextensions. Now we are moving on to front foot elevated Smith machine split squats. It's a great movement. To be honest, it's one of those movements that I've not done a lot previously, so I'm still kind of getting to grips with it. But one mistake I see people make with this movement is overload it, and rather than keeping the tension on their front leg, so the leg that you're actually working, they overload it and end up with the lower back coming into play. So I see this a lot with any sort of split squat variations. What you want to do is always focus your body weight on that front leg, on that front foot, and work that leg. The back leg is only for balance. So if you place it on the floor, it's only to help you balance so you don't fall flat on your face. Don't split the body weight and the load onto both legs, because you end up with your lower back coming in, and that's where the issues start coming in, where people end up walking away from split squats with painful lower back. If you're like me and you're not super flexible, you might find it actually easier to put the bar a little bit lower down on your back, around where your ear delts are. Oh God, and get in position.
That's perfect. 5 centimeters deeper. Good, keep it all in that front leg. Just use that back leg as stability. Let's go. Nice.
You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you so much.
Come on. Let's go. More aggression on the way up. Try. Up to me. Magda's now really gotten the idea behind the great tempo on the eccentric part of a movement. She's going a little bit slower on a lot of her concentric, but that happens a lot when somebody learns how to train hard and then you scale it back and learn how to train with more control. What we need to do now is create a little bit more aggression on the eccentric with the same control, but not in control because of the slow speed. Does that make sense? So you want aggression with control to the point where it's not bouncing, but it's the point where it's aggressive so that she can really drive the strength. Because we now have it super glute focused with no shins driving forwards. She's being super controlled on the way down. She's getting really, really, really beautiful depth. She's keeping all of the weight in her front leg. We just now need to be a little bit more aggressive on the way up, which is why even on the Smiths, even on the hip thrust and on the reverse hypers, who was saying drive the concentric, I was saying be more aggressive on the way up. That way we're going to be able to try and build the strength with the now improved form, and improved tempo. Apparently I can't talk today.
I think this is where a lot of people get discouraged when it comes to bodybuilding, because they'll get feedback from their coach on, you need more intensity, or you need to be a little bit more accurate here and there. But the thing is, see feedback as something so positive, because you know exactly as to what you can improve with your training in order to continue progressing. We will all have different goals. For me, it's stepping on stage and beating the look that I previously presented. Bodybuilding is about constant progression. You'll see, IFBB pros. That doesn't mean they know exactly how to train. Yes, there will be a very high level, but they will continuously improve their lift, improve tiny little details within their training in order to keep progressing. This is the best part of bodybuilding. You never stay stagnant. You continue to progress. You continue to get better. Do not let feedback discourage you from wanting to bodybuild. It's actually the best part of bodybuilding. It means that you can continue to progress and you know what ways you can actually do it in. I'm done with front foot elevated split squats and we're moving on to glute bias leg press. I know I said this was a lower body session when we first started. It's a glute bias session. But the thing is, when it comes to training glutes, when it comes to training your lower body in any way, yes, you can bias working certain muscle group, but you'll never fully be able to switch everything else off. With a leg press, for example, I will be using a glute bias stance, so I'll have my feet quite high, up and narrow to bias my glutes as much as I can, but my quads and my adductors will still be working. I can do my best to get the most that I can out of this exercise for my glutes. But unfortunately, you cannot just turn all the other muscles off. They'll still be working. And that's the thing with movements like this. If you are ever wanting to bias your glutes, for example, and your quads are starting to burn, that's not an indication to stop. Yes, your quads will still be working in this movement. So still work to failure. Put that effort in that we've discussed before. That effort is always the priority. Work to failure. And trust me, your glutes will be working hard even if your quads are on fire.
Seven, 8, 9, 10. Breathe, Magda. Right, take a breath. Let's go. Drive. Nice. Leave it there. Just leave it there. You push any harder, you're going to do the poop on the chair.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, go on, Meg. Yes. Go on. Yes, drive, come on.
So on the way down. Pause. Aggressive. Nice, that's better. Let's go. Let's go. Drive. And again, let's go. So, and aggressive. And again. Come on. Drive, drive, drive. Nice. Leave it there. Leave it there.
Oh, fucking hell. So we finished on the leg press and we split up with Meg now as well. She's doing kickbacks and I've got 2 sets of abduction and then followed by 1 set of adduction. So abduction is your legs moving out, you're working your glutes, and adduction is working your adductors, which is on the inside of your thigh. Now with this movement, I tend to use an additional pad here just to put myself in a better position with literally where these sit on my legs. When it comes to the abductor and that movement, I find actually leaning forward ever so slightly gets me connecting with that portion of my glute a lot better. It's not science, I just find that's what works for me, so that's what I'm going to be doing. One mistake that I find people make with this movement is they arch their back and they use momentum in the movement. And next thing you know, you see them throwing their legs out to the sides, that lower back is working and they walk away from it with an achy back. You don't want to be doing that. You want to keep your hips tucked under you and keep the weight controlled at all times. So when you bring your legs out, pause in that squeeze, pause in that contraction to get the most that you can out of this movement for your glutes, and then control weight as you come in, as you go into that stretch. Don't ever use momentum, because that is just a way of potentially injuring yourself. And again, not working your glutes, but actually working your lower back, and who wants that? Oh, fucking hell. So again, this is not science, but I find it really helps me to connect with this movement. When I set myself up, I think about trying to roll my ankles outwards. So literally, if you look at my feet, trying to do this as if I'm pushing out, and I find I'm able to contract a lot better. That might not work for you, but might be worth a try. So next time, if you're struggling with this movement, give that a go and see if that works for you. Adductors, so watermelon crushers, as I like to call them. One thing with this movement, even when you go into the stretch, you want to still be under tension. So you don't want to be bottoming out with this movement. And I know that means that getting into this movement can be a little bit awkward. However, I'm going to show you how you can get into it if you don't have anyone to actually help you and maybe bring these closer together. So I'll show you how I get into it on my own, because I tend to train on my own. And that way, next time you do this in the gym, you know how to get into it, and don't leave any gains on the table. That's it, we're done. So that is it. That's my lower session done. I hope you've enjoyed this video and listening to me progressively sounding worse, like I smoke 50 a day. Obviously, I need a little bit of rest. My voice needs a little bit of rest. I do promise next video, it will sound much, much better. Let me know what you'd like to see from me going forwards. I'm still quite new to this whole YouTube thing, so please let me know as to what you'd like to see, and I'll make sure to make it happen. Please share, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when my next video comes live.